his book, right, on immigration.
This is it.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying the timing couldn't have been better.
Well, people always say this to me as if my book had nothing to do with the fact that we're talking about it now.
Well,
and that book on impeaching Bill Clinton. Whoa, what amazing luck that was. And then he got impeached. Well, Trump read my book. Where do you think he got all that spicy stuff about Mexican rape? That's from Adios America.
Why is this the most important issue right now?
Because it determines every other issue. I mean, you said in your opening, how does it affect the economy? I try to watch your show, but I've been looking up statistics on immigrants, so I haven't watched it as religiously as I should.
That's
but
okay.
My guess is that you're pinning a lot of the blame on Obama and the Democrats. Well, Obama never would have been elected but for Teddy Kennedy's 1965 Immigration Act. Al Franken never would have been elected in Minnesota without 100,000 Somalis living there and block voting for the Democrats. He was the 51st vote for Obamacare. Certainly Obama wouldn't have been reelected. Romney would have won a bigger victory against Barack Obama in 2012 than Reagan won against Carter in 1980, but for post-1970 immigrants. And that is what we're talking about here.
Yeah, but we're struggling in this country with what to do with illegal immigrants. And you're talking about immigrants, legal immigrants. What are you going to do? You're going to send all post-1970 immigrants back?
Well, first of all, we got to get a handle on the illegals. Yes, we need a wall. Thank you, Donald Trump. Deport as many as we can. And I now think, I loved Mitt Romney for saying we'll just enforce E-Verify so that you can't hire illegals. And then the illegals already here will self-deport, i.e. they'll go home the same way they came. I never understood why that was such an alarming statement.
In other words, if they can't make money, why are they here in the first place? And if they can't make money here and send it back home?
Well, that's a big problem for us. They're sending just Mexico. They're sending 20 billion home back to Mexico. That's just money being sucked out of our economy. Yeah.
I mean,
and they're taking low-wage jobs. Who does it go to? And this is my objection to probably many of your friends at the Wall Street Journal. It's very good for capital, the rich people, your capital gains. If you can drive down the wages of the people who draw wages, that's good for business. Your stocks will go up. But ordinary Americans are suffering. Their wages have been collapsing, especially between 1980 and now.
But here's where I guess I differ with you a little bit, in the sense that I don't know that it's big business that's trying to drive down wages. This is where I think the problem is. I think too many Americans get paid not to work. I think too many young Americans don't have to work, so they don't have to work at the catfish farm. Right. They don't have to work. You know, disability is going to go, it's going to implode next year. You know why? Have you looked at the numbers? I was just looking at the numbers because it turned 80 this week. Mood disorders. You go in there and say, I've got mood problems. Okay, boom. You get a check. 28 years old, strong as hell. Yeah. You don't have to work. So when you don't have to work, guess what? Across that field from your house, someone's got to pick that fruit. To me, it's not the big business. It's the idea that we pay so many people in this country not to work that these illegals are filling that void.
No, you're absolutely right. But first of all, to get control of that, we're going to have to elect Republicans, and we can't if we keep bringing in immigrants who, and post-1970 immigrants, have been blocked voting for the Democrats.
All Republicans
8-2.
Because it seems like more and more of them are saying, you know what, let's assimilate, let's do it the right way, let's,
No, that's why I say go Trump go, as long as he's good on immigration. But point two, immigrants are also both legal and illegal, more likely to be on welfare than the native born. Why would any country bring in people it has to help? This is not helping the economy. It is not helping the poor. It is helping the...
Joining us tonight, political commentator, conservative commentator, best-selling author Ann Coulter. Her most recent book is called In Trump We Trust. And great to have you with us. You watched the something of a love fest in the cabinet room with the president today, with some, again, of the most unheralded senators serving in either party. What do you make of it?
When Kevin McCarthy is the hardliner on immigration in the room, I think we can call this the lowest day in the Trump presidency. I mean, he was clearly trying to overcome the bad press of this Michael Wolff book by showing, oh, he's in command. But in fact, what he did was fulfill every description of him in the Michael Wolff book. He doesn't listen. He has no command of the facts. He agrees with the last person who
we don't need to go through the whole
happening.
damn book by Michael Wolff. It's a bunch of trash anyway. But what I want to ask you is...
No, it isn't.
Yes,
second by second, he was doing...
Well, let me tell you what. Yes, it is. And for the purpose of this...
He was doing exactly, literally 30 seconds. Di-Fi says she wants a standalone Dreamer bill. He agrees with that. Kevin McCarthy has to step in and say, no, sir, I think we need border security first. He agrees with that. He's agreeing with people with a 60-second lag. And the Democrats are just taking the position, no, we won't take anything but the Dreamers.
Yeah, well, he says, without question, he says that he's going to have the wall. The problem I have, frankly, is that there was no discussion of the sequence in which these events would occur. And we know that if the wall is not, and I mean constructed, built, before there's any discussion of quote-unquote immigration reform, we know what's not going to happen. That wall is not going to be built, is it?
No, of course not. And any amnesty is a 100% amnesty because it goes to the courts. And the courts will say, oh, you may have limited this to left-handed redheads who came here at age 0 through no fault of their own. But gosh, we're going to open it up to everyone. Yeah. And then through chain migration, they get to bring all of their relatives. And actually, I can't say you're wrong. You can say anything about that press conference today, called by Trump himself. He thought this was going to be a great shining moment. At any one moment, you can say he was agreeing to anything. He agreed with Di-Fi. Yes, we'll have a standalone Dreamer bill, just granting everybody amnesty, and we'll get to that comprehensive immigration stuff later. No, Lou, this is a disaster. It was the lowest day of his presidency.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more about the difficulty of the day. Let me put it that way. Look, I am an absolute committed supporter of this president. I am also absolutely, without question and unreservedly, a champion of his wall and making certain that we secure the borders before there's any talk with the... This was an assemblage of some of the worst lights of the Kennedy, McCain effort to create comprehensive immigration reform. And a reminder to everyone in Washington, what you do when you don't have a solution is you expand the problem. They made it comprehensive, vast,
well,
and by the way,
and also,
still no progress on it.
It seems, yes, but it seems as if Trump thinks he's going to get all this great press by giving the left everything they want. I promise you, he's not going to get good press from this. They're still going to say he has dementia. If anything, they have more arguments now with him jumping around and abandoning his base. His only hope is to be pedal to the metal, fulfill his promises, build the wall, end chain migration, and deport these Dreamers who are, again, as I said last week, they ought to go before MS-13. They are just a Mexican Antifa.
That may be one
they
of
are the worst of the illegals.
You know, and you don't like the way they create so much trouble. By the way, the average age of these so-called Dreamers, the president himself refers to them as kids. They are far from it.
He corrected himself on that. That was actually one of the high moments of the press conference. I mean, every once in a while, I could go through and give you 30 seconds where he was great. But then the next answer is, I'll take the heat. It'll be comprehensive immigration reform.
Well, he did say that.
It's not disputing the Michael Wolff book.
Well, it is. The reason I don't like the Michael Wolff book is because it's filled with trash and fraud and fiction. And Ann, you know better than to use it as some sort of compass.
Some of it is
on the body.
If you actually read it, if you exclude the bad stuff, it's not that bad for Trump. It's tough on the press. It's good on the Russian investigation.
To sit here and boost a really bad book like that, you know.
I'm sure those people told him that, and they're the ones who were hired into the White House by Trump. If he doesn't want people bad-mouthing him, he ought to hire people who supported him.
Yeah. Or find people of integrity, which I think he has now discovered is a decided advantage. Ann Coulter, it's always good to have you with us. Thanks so much.
Thank you.